There is nothing wrong with wanting to live a more luxurious life. And in this video, I'm going to break down 10 ways to actually start living a more luxe life when your bank account isn't quite there yet. Or just how to do it for cheaper and in a more practical way. Hi friends and welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Jillz and I help women step into their power, tap into their divine feminine, and become their best self, live their dream life. So if that's something you want to do, you should subscribe and stick around. So first things first, when it comes to living a more luxurious life, this is one thing that is so important to understand, and that is ROI, which means return on investment. And this is a very popular financial term, and I'll explain what this means using examples and everything. I'll make it more clear. But what I mean is that you have to get crystal clear, really honest with yourself about what kind of things give you that abundant, luxurious life, that luxurious feeling, and what kind of things don't. When you spend money or when you spend your time and energy, are you getting a high return on that investment? Are you getting a positive return from that? So the key here is knowing where to spend and where not to spend. What gives you the most ROI in your life and what does not? So for example, some people's version of living a very luxurious life is making sure that they get their nails done every 2 weeks religiously. And that is like a huge part of their life. It's like a self-care thing. For me, that doesn't give me a high return. I despise getting my nails done. It gives me anxiety. I don't like sitting there with my hands there for like an hour and a half. It's also pretty expensive. I've been using Olive and June press-on nails for like a year probably, and they've worked really well. I think they're really pretty, but it's only $10 and I do them myself at home. The reason I don't spend money and time and energy on going to get my nails done is because it's not a high ROI for me. For some people, it is. What does tend to give me a high ROI is things relating to time freedom, being able to free up my time and give me the ability to do what I want in my day and be more flexible in my day. So one thing that I have invested in for a long time now to help me live a more luxurious, abundant life is a house cleaning service. This for me has an amazing ROI for me. It makes me feel more organized and more energized and just happier and all of that. It really gives me a high return on my investment. That feels luxe to me. That feels abundant to me. For some people, paying for like a really luxurious gym membership is totally worth it for them. They get that return on their investment. For other people, it's not. Everyone has their own little ranking system, and you have to understand in your head and be really honest with yourself about what gives you the most return on your investment and what doesn't really give you that abundant feeling you're looking for. And you kind of need to be able to mentally rank these in your head, and as your budget allows, go down the list, right? So you start with number 1, and then eventually when you have more funds to spend, you can go to number 2. And this could be as little as treating yourself to a fancy little coffee every Monday morning from Starbucks before work, because it makes you feel so happy and it gives you that good energy, good vibes. Don't let anyone tell you that a purchase is stupid, because everyone has different ROIs on different things. They might not understand that that little morning coffee completely transforms the energy of the day for you. Living a rich girl life is not going to be the same for everyone. We all have our own different priorities, and we have to figure out and be honest about what things move the needle for us, what makes us feel abundant, and what doesn't really do that for us. And maybe you're at the point in your life where you really can't spend more than just that simple Monday morning coffee. Okay, fine, but when you get that coffee, soak it in, enjoy it, feel abundant from that, feel luxurious from that. Don't let anxiety or worry or, financial guilt or anything like that stop you from enjoying that moment. That is your abundant, luxurious moment. Soak it in. Let yourself receive a return on that little investment. So if you want to live a more luxurious, abundant life, even when your bank account is tight, you have to figure out your own ROI ranking system and figure out what truly makes you feel abundant, what truly gives you that luxurious feeling. And when you're comfortable spending either that money, time, and energy on that, soak it in and enjoy it. Allow yourself to receive that. So the next way to live a more luxurious life on a budget is something that I have done for years and years. I still do all the time, and that is doing affordable things in luxurious places. You can go to the coffee shop in the really nice neighborhood. You can get a coffee there. You can work from there. You can soak in that energy and that environment. You can go for a walk in the bougie neighborhood with all the really pretty houses. There are so many things that you can do that are either free or very affordable, but are in abundant places. So for example, maybe you're going on a trip to New York City, right? And you are staying in like a very affordable Airbnb. That doesn't mean that you can't go grab a cup of tea at the St. Regis. Anyone can walk into a fancy hotel, or you can go to a nice hotel and just get a little dessert there. Like, those things are not usually expensive, even at nice places. Sometimes to live that rich girl life, you can just get so much value just from being in the energy of that place, of that luxurious place. And just because your bank account doesn't quite look like the people that are at those places yet, it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy them. It doesn't mean that you are not worthy of being there. Soak in the energy of that abundance and go out and do things in really luxurious places. Now let's talk about clothes and living a more luxurious life. And the reality is that you don't need that many clothes, but you do need to be strategic and have items that can mix and match. So when you are shopping for clothes, don't just buy something just because you like it. You have to ask yourself, am I actually gonna wear this? How can I wear this? How many different ways can I style this? Am I going to get high ROI, return on investment? In my opinion, dresses are great because you don't really have to match them to anything. I feel like they're easier to wear. But just because you like something, it doesn't mean that you're going to get good use out of it. And in the long run, it may be better to purchase something that may be a little bit more expensive, but it's a little bit more high quality and it will last you for a very long time. It's a classic piece versus something that's just super trendy, going to go out of style soon, and is cheap. However, just because something is expensive, it doesn't mean that it's better. You know, it's fall now. I've been trying on a bunch of sweaters and I tried on a few that were like much more expensive, thinking that they're gonna be really great. And honestly, they were so uncomfortable. I could not wait to get them off of my body. But if you want to live that more luxurious life in relation to clothes, you really have to be strategic when shopping and making sure that you are buying things that are going to last. For example, like a good basic nice sweater, that's never really gonna go out of style, right? Or a good, classy, simple coat, that's never really gonna go out of style for the most part. Or like a classy pair of shoes, those are kind of always nice to have. And if you can take care of those things, then those can last you for a really long time. Don't just go shopping and buy whatever you like. You have to figure out if those pieces actually fit into your wardrobe and if you're gonna wear them and if they're going to be a high return on your investment. If your finances do not allow for some huge wardrobe, then make sure that you are purchasing clothes that you can actually wear and you can wear in many different ways. Also keep in mind too that just because something is cheaper, it doesn't mean that it's bad or that it's not gonna last. Like for example, there's these tank tops that I got from Target many years ago and I still wear them all the time and they were probably like $7. And lastly, if you don't love that clothing item, if you don't love the way that it looks on you, don't buy it because it's not gonna give you a high ROI. Only buy something if you love it, it looks good on you and can be utilized in many different ways in many different outfits. And if it's a classic piece and can last for a long time, even better. Now next, if you need something nice for like this nice event, you really want to look amazing, you want to feel very luxurious and abundant for some event, definitely consider renting. There are many companies now where you can rent clothes, rent fancy dresses, all of that kind of stuff. And that is a really amazing option, especially for big events where you only kind of want to wear that item once. It doesn't really make sense to buy it. It makes a lot more sense to rent it. And I've actually rented quite a few dresses for different events, like for weddings and things like that. I personally don't like wearing fancy dresses more than once. That doesn't feel abundant and luxurious to me. So I would rather rent. You know, there's Rent the Runway for really nice dresses. There's also Nuuly for renting clothes. There's also Fashion Pass, I think, for renting clothes. But there's a lot of different services out there. And sometimes there's also local businesses that offer this as well, where you can like go try on dresses and rent whatever you want and bring it back. This is such a good option. Or next, let's say you do have some big event coming up, something super special, and you have already mentally decided that you are going to splurge on something. You want to look nice. You have already decided that you are going to spend the money. Maybe you've been saving for it already. Okay, if that is the case, try to spend it on something that again, you can get really good use out of. For example, when I got married, I knew that I wanted really nice shoes. I already knew that I was going to buy very nice shoes. I had been saving for it for a while. I was comfortable spending a lot of money on a nice pair of shoes. And I bought a very classy pair of Jimmy Choo heels. And my wedding was 7 years ago now. So I have had these for 7 years. I wear them all the time to like nice functions vacations or nice date nights out or something, I still always get compliments on them. They are incredibly comfortable. They have held up so well. And for me, they were totally worth the investment. I have reworn my wedding shoes so many times, and I will probably keep wearing them for many, many years to come. And personally, I feel very abundant, very luxurious in my fancy shoes. So if you are going to splurge, you can get a much higher ROI on your purchase if you buy something that is classy and that will be one of those things that you can wear forever. Now let's talk about travel and how to have more luxurious travel on a budget, because so often when we envision luxury, right, we're envisioning like these wonderful vacations. So the first thing is that points are incredibly useful. And so many people go on vacations and flights and all that kind of stuff utilizing points. And by points, I mean credit card points, hotel points, airline mileage points, all that kind of stuff. I have been on multiple vacations at 5-star hotels, very nice hotels, that are completely paid for by points. The hotel is paid for, not the flight or the food there, but the hotel is completely covered by points. I remember when I had graduated college and that first year after, like really paying for myself, handling my finances myself, I was paying for everything on my debit card. And my brother was like, why are you doing that? You should get a credit card. And I was like, why do I need a credit card? Like, I don't want that. Like, I want to be responsible. But he encouraged me to get a credit card just for the points and the rewards. And he was right. As long as you are responsible with your finances and can pay off your credit card, obviously, you can get a lot of perks by putting things on a credit card. And it does take a while, obviously, to build up those points, but when you do, you can get a huge discount or a free vacation. Of course, only do this if you're responsible, but a good credit card can actually give you a lot of rewards. And I would also say, this is something I wish I did sooner, was pick an airline and get on that like loyalty membership and try to just fly that airline or whatever airlines are within that airline bubble. You know how sometimes they have like a whole group of them, but pick a good airline, one that makes sense to you. Maybe they have a big hub at your local airport, and build up those points. Again, it can take quite a bit of time to build up those points, but when you do, you can get a lot of value from that. Next travel tip, especially if you want to stay at like more luxury hotels and things like that, is to take advantage of off season. So depending on where you want to travel to, there are seasons where it will be more expensive and likely seasons where it will be cheaper, just based off of weather and demand and all that kind of stuff. This is a great way to get cheaper rates at nice places. For example, if you really want to go to Italy, those months of like May, June, maybe July, those can be like really expensive, right? Because it's sunny, beautiful weather, people want to go to the Amalfi Coast, all those things. But if you go in like December, yes, it's not going to be sunny, but it's still beautiful and it's chic, and you get to experience Italy with less tourists, and you can save a lot of money, and it's still usually very enjoyable. Just like a month ago, we went to the Caribbean for the long weekend, and it is peak hurricane season there, and so not surprisingly, the hotel was like 4 times cheaper than it is during like that peak season, and we got a huge discount. And it was great because the hotel allowed us to cancel up to like 3 or 4 days before the trip, so if the weather was really bad, we could have canceled and gotten all of our money back, but the weather was absolutely beautiful, phenomenal, and we got a great deal. We stayed at a very nice resort for much cheaper. And last travel luxury tip, don't be afraid to ask for a complimentary upgrade. Sometimes they'll give you one, sometimes they don't, but there's no harm in asking. I've gotten quite a few nice upgrades, nice suites this way, especially if you are traveling on off season and there's more availability in the hotel, then they're more likely to give you this. But really don't be afraid to ask. The worst they can say is no. Now, the next way to live a more luxurious life, even if you feel like you don't have that much money in your bank account, or you look at your bank account and there's just not much money there, stop identifying as broke. Stop seeing yourself as broke and being in lack. Don't even use the word broke when it comes to your life and your finances. I don't even like the word budgeting. It's very cringe for me. I don't like it. And you can reframe all of these things to be more positive and empowering. So instead of, oh, I don't have enough money for that, you can say, oh, that's not my priority right now. I don't want to spend my money on that right now. That is much more abundant and more powerful of a statement. You have to start seeing yourself as abundant and feeling abundant before the numbers in your bank account even show that. If you want to start living a more luxurious life, you have to stop seeing yourself in lack all the time. You have to start reframing the way that you see your finances, your life, the way that you spend your money, and see it as empowering and abundant, and have gratitude for the things that you do have, instead of focusing on all the things that you don't. That broke mindset, that lack mindset will never get you anywhere. And lastly, keep in mind that the energy of lack is contagious. There are people who might not actually have that much money in their bank account. Maybe they only shop at thrift stores, but they have incredibly abundant energy and you feel abundant just being around them. And there's also people who might actually have quite a lot of money, but you wouldn't even know it because it always seems like they're struggling. They always seem to be in lack. It is so important to surround yourself with people who have an abundance mindset. The energy of lack is contagious, but the energy of abundance is contagious as well. And there's an actual scientific term for this. It's called social contagion. And it's when our, not just behaviors, but our emotions, our mindsets, our feelings, all of that spread throughout a group of people. If you want to live a more luxurious, abundant life, be around people who see life as abundant. Let me know in the comments other ways that you live a luxurious lifestyle in a practical way. And if you haven't seen this video, From Broke to Abundance, the energetic secrets of money, I highly recommend you go check it out. If you're into this topic of finances and abundance and all of that kind of stuff, then this is the video for you. So I will see you over there, or I will just see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.